This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
All right, happy Juneteenth. No one knows what it means, but we celebrate it. We give government workers the day off to celebrate this big holiday, which was never even mentioned by Barack Obama or anybody else. It only became a thing under Donald Trump, but it's a thing now. And they already celebrated at the White House 9 days ago. I don't really understand that. That was one of the deep fakes from the Juneteenth concert where those dastardly Republicans spliced and edited and manipulated the tape to make it look like Joe Biden was frozen solid during the concert, while Kamala Harris and Billy Porter and George Floyd's brother were dancing to the music. Joe Biden stood there with the stiff hands, staring with that blank look on his face. It didn't really happen. No. It didn't happen. It was a deep fake. We know that now. He didn't wander off in Normandy, and when the rest of the world leaders were looking one way, he didn't go the other way. He didn't sit in an imaginary chair or attempt to sit. He didn't freeze up on stage in L.A. at the glitzy fundraiser with Jimmy Kimmel. Barack Obama did not grab him by the arm and guide him gently off the stage. Those are all deep fakes. We know that now. That's the strategy. I know it because Nicole Wallace told me those are deep fakes. She wouldn't lie to me. Brian Stelter told me those are lies. He said those videos are made up. I'm no expert. You're more the tech guy, Ironhead. How do you make up a video? How do you do that?
I have no idea. I think there's like auto-generated things.
There's techniques. Yeah, there's AI. I love how they just throw that out there. Some of them are AI. They don't even know what it stands for. They don't know what's AI, but they don't care. It's all about protecting the dementia patient in the White House, just gently guiding him up on stage and off the stage and into the debate and praying that he remains upright for 4.5 more months. I don't think it's possible, but we'll see. Yesterday, they did it again. Joe Biden held an event at the White House with congressional leaders, with his Secretary of HHS, Alejandro Mayorkas, the impeached criminal who runs that department. He was standing right next to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden forgot his name. I mean, he didn't actually forget his name. He said his name, but then Republicans and the RNC and Newsmax and Fox News, they get a hold of the tape. That's what they do. They get a hold of the tape where Joe Biden introduces Mayorkas, and they splice it and cut it and make it seem like he forgot his name. Let's watch this disgusting display of manipulation and deceit and disinformation. Go ahead.
Thanks to all members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure you're going to understand.
You know, my favorite part of these deep fakes is when the people, his supporters, when they laugh like they think, or they wanted to appear. Speaking of deep fakes, they wanted to appear that he's making a joke when he forgets someone's name. And he says, I shouldn't introduce you. What did he say? Play this again. This is hilarious. Go ahead.
Thanks to all members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure you're going to understand.
I'm not sure I should introduce you. Is that what he said?
I don't know.
They can't stop it. There's nothing they can do. All they can do is lie to you and put that thought in your head that these are manipulated, edited. These are fake. And what are they going to say at the debate? What are they going to say at the convention when his brain malfunctions? As I've said for 3.5 years, I know one thing for certain. It's not going to get better. That's how it works with an 81-year-old man who is in the throes of dementia, who is confused, who is lost. It doesn't get better. I don't care how much Adderall or whatever they pump into him. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell everybody that this isn't real, that it's a cheap fake. That's what Karine Jean-Pierre did. And I don't think I've ever seen this kind of obsequiousness, of cooperation from the media on this one. Again, they know they have no choice. They can't defend this. They don't know what else to do but tell you that this is a campaign of disinformation. And these are people who know disinformation. These are the people that told you that Russia colluded with Trump for 3 years. These are people who told you that Trump told you to drink bleach, and Trump's called the soldiers in Normandy suckers and losers. Just one hoax after another from these people, as we've talked about for 3 years. Now they want you to think the people who post the video of a feeble-minded president are trying to trick you, and they're not even hiding it. It's an amazing thing to watch. This is directly from the White House. This is an email or a text to this person on CBS, and they say, here's what you got to do. You got to convince people that these videos exposing the mental decline of our president, you got to convince them that they're not real. And they just take it from there. These people are such shameless whores. I know they hate Trump. I know they're Democrats. I know they're liberals. But they just take their integrity and light it on fire. They have no professional dignity. They have no standard. It's just about one thing: stop Trump, help Biden. That's it. Watch this woman from CBS talk about this campaign of manipulation from the Republicans. Go ahead.
You've probably heard of deep fakes, but just last week, as President Biden was at the G7 summit in Italy, cheap fake clips went viral on social media and were picked up by some news outlets. Take a look at this clip, for example. It shows Biden and other world leaders watching a skydiving demonstration before the president is seen walking away and looking in another direction. Outlets claimed that he was sort of just aimlessly wandering away. The clip amassed millions of views within just a few hours, when actually if you widen out, you can see that he was talking to one of the members of the military that was participating in that demonstration.
Okay, hold it right there. My question is, if you can see that on the wide view, the wide angle, why does she show it? She showed the same video that we've all seen. You can see the skydiver he's allegedly talking to. He doesn't even look up. He didn't talk to the skydiver. That's just a lie. The woman who wants you to think you're being lied to is lying to you. And it just goes from here. They bring on one of their executive editors to talk about all the manipulation and deep fakes coming from the Republicans. And they don't show you. I mean, they don't make their case. They show you the video that everyone else has seen, which literally shows Joe Biden wandering off while all the world leaders are looking in one direction. He's going the other way. And and Giorgia Meloni, the prime minister of Italy, literally takes him by the arm. And they want you to think that's somehow a deep fake. How exactly? Explain it. Let's listen to more of this from this pathetic handmaiden for the Biden administration. Go ahead.
How prevalent are cheap fakes, and how big of a problem will they be in this election? Well, let's take a look with executive editor of CBS News Confirmed, Rona Tarrant, who joins us now from Studio 57 to explain. Hi, Rona. It's great to see you.
Hi.
So tell us how long cheap fakes have been around. I'm assuming they've been around since the beginning of the media, because anybody can take an image and manipulate.
I was going to say they've been around since KJP misspoke.
Right. They've been around since the president became senile. That's how long they've been around. But this is the boss, the executive editor. They bring her out of her office and say, we're in trouble here. We need help. Can you try to convince people that they're not seeing what they're seeing, to not believe their lying eyes? Let's listen to a little bit of this woman. Go ahead.
Look like it suggests something that didn't happen.
That's exactly it. It really is a case of old techniques meets new technology. So as you said, cheap fake videos, and that's videos that are edited in a really simple way. Those have been around as long as political videos have existed. So there's a few ways, for example, that people might be familiar with. One is there might be a long video and you might take a very short clip and you take out key context. Another is maybe you slow something down and it makes it sound like someone is slurring their words. Or another is you might splice several pieces together and it makes it sound like someone said something that they didn't. What's different in this election and the last two elections, in the presidential elections, is number one, everyone has access to mobile phones where they can edit. And number two, most people have social media accounts where they can publish this stuff. So it's worth saying these are not anything new. You know, when Trump was president, these targeted him as well. But what we are seeing in the last few weeks is really the steady stream of videos that are targeting President Biden, and in particular, taking aim at his age.
Right, and they are
targeting President Biden is showing President Biden to the media. You show him and you're targeting him, trying to manipulate the video. They don't have an example of that. They show you the video from Normandy. They don't show you the wide angle. They don't show you the one that's been spliced and diced because they know it wasn't. You want to know it looks like when you manipulate a video, when you splice and dice and edit it to make someone appear like they're saying something that they didn't actually say or taking it out of context. Do we have the 19-second video of Joe Biden challenging Trump to a debate? This would be an example of what they're talking about. This is I believe 19 seconds with 6 jump cuts, 6 edits.
Too much credit there, Jerry. This is only 14 seconds.
14 seconds. I'm sorry. Yeah, they cut out that 5 seconds when he was drooling. 14 seconds, and they want you to think this is, unedited. This is just Joe speaking off the cuff. He can't do a 14-second video while reading a teleprompter without 6 edits. That's right. You heard that right. 14 seconds, 6 edits. This is what they want you to believe the Republicans and the right-wing media are doing to Biden. Play this.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
14 seconds, 6 edits. That's something that's been manipulated. The video from Normandy was not. The video from L.A. from the Jimmy Kimmel fundraiser was not. But they want to put that thought in your head. Gee, next time I see Joe Biden wandering off with the stiff hands and somebody escorting him, holding his arm, holding him up, they want you to believe, oh, that's not real. I think I mentioned this before. I was arguing with a family member, unnamed family member by marriage. And she's a big Democrat, Biden supporter. And I just asked about the open border. And I said, don't you see all the people coming across the open border? You know what her response was? Those videos aren't real. Those are fake. And I went, well, I literally walked away because I didn't want to, get in a real fight. And I just said, they're fake? What do you mean? How are they fake? Showing millions of illegal aliens crossing the border. We see them every day. And a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat just dismisses it, says, those are fake. So that's what you're going to get. And you're going to get it from all the usual suspects, CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Boston Globe. There will be a new video of Biden today, tomorrow, of him stumbling and stammering and showing clearly that he is in serious mental decline. And the only way they could pull this off is to put that idea in the back of your head and have you dismiss them. Those aren't real. Listen to this. Listen to Mr. Potato Head here, Brian Stelter. He's supposed to be a media critic, and he goes on CNN. I don't even understand this. They fired him, and now he's on there more than ever as an expert commentator. But listen to him explain that some of the videos are made up, and there's no follow-up. What do you mean? What is a made-up video? What does that even mean? Go ahead, Potato Head.
Brian, this is going to be really tough and tricky for voters to sort through, because some of these videos, if you're a regular person, you probably cannot even do the digging that would be required to sort through what is being chopped up, what is being deceptively characterized, all of that.
That's right. And it's only June. You're already talking about whether the president's defecating in public. Imagine where we're going to be by October. The White House press secretary used the phrase cheap fakes, the idea of cheap fakes. Let me explain what that is to people. We've been worried for years about AI deep fakes, that computer generated images are going to trick people into believing something that's totally false. Cheap fakes are a little bit simpler. They're cheap. They're just distorted, out of context videos, chopped up in certain ways, constructed in certain ways. That's what we're seeing. That's what the Biden administration, the Biden campaign is so worried about right now. But make no mistake, they are worried about this. This is a real problem. This is not some made up fiction. The videos are oftentimes made up, but the problem is real because some of us, Abby, watch a 40-minute speech by Biden. We see the full context. Other people only watch a 5-second clip. And that's going to be something that's going to, I suspect, follow Biden for the rest of this campaign.
All I can hear is Russell Brand's impression of him now.
He just said there are images of him defecating himself on CNN. But he says oftentimes the videos are made up. Again, explain that to me. How would that work? And while they do this, they clip and edit Trump every day. And, they show 5-second thing of him saying, whatever, it's going to be a bloodbath. And yes, we do show videos and still photos of the president defecating himself. Yes, that's true. But it's not deceptively edited. We're just theorizing. We're just guessing because we've seen that look before. Usually it's a 2-year-old, but in this case, it's an 81-year-old. And we just asked, what's he doing there? But made up videos. These people are shameless. They're whores. They're common night walkers. They have no dignity. They're pathetic, sad, sorry excuses. And perhaps the worst of all, I don't usually give her enough credit. Nicole Wallace is one pathetic, sad, sorry excuse for a journalist. She used to work for the Bush administration. She was a big weapons of mass destruction hoaxer. And now she works for the Biden administration. She gets paid by MSNBC, but she doesn't even hide it. She is there for one reason only, to stop Trump. And she does her best every day. She says the same thing. There's a campaign now to manipulate videos to make Biden look old. It's remarkable. Can we listen to this pathetic woman?
Which one was this?
Nicole Wallace. She's on MSNBC. I sent you the video of her talking about this very thing, this campaign of misinformation. It was, Tom Elliott posted it right there.
I'll get.
I can play it here on my iPad if you'd like.
Well, I don't see it. I'll find it. I'll plug it in right here.
Okay, you got it.
No,
you got it twice now. All right, can you play it or not?
I'm not seeing it.
Okay.
Up there it is. Hold up. Gotcha.
Take care of this in post, right, Ironhead?
Yes, sir. Here we go.
There's a growing and insidious trend in right-wing media, broadcast, print, and social media. It is to take highly misleading and selectively edited videos of President Biden directly from Republican National Committee social media accounts and then use those videos to spread messages virally to cast doubt on President Biden's fitness for office. Here is this headline from the New York Post, quote, Biden appears to freeze up, has to be led off stage by Obama at Megabucks LA fundraiser. The full video posted by Biden finance chair on Twitter shows something entirely different. Biden reacting to the pause and then walking.
No, it sure doesn't. Especially when you take the crowd.
Yeah. She references a Biden campaign guy as he posted the real video. No, he didn't. I mean, he was called out in an instant when he claimed that was manipulated. What is she thinking? Well, I mean, the video of him, Obama, taking him by the arm, how was that manipulated? How was that changed? How was it edited?
It's not, because it's an audience member taking a video with no cuts, unlike this video that she's showing. which has
Right.
plenty.
So she's doing exactly what she's accusing the RNC and right wing, an insidious, she says, an insidious campaign by right wing media to show you the current condition of the commander in chief as people try to decide if he can handle, if he's fit to serve 4 more years. I think we already have our answer. And I think I'm confident that when we see the debate, when we see the Democrat convention, when we see the other debate, when we see him occasionally shuffle around a campaign event, they're going to be more convinced than ever. Because once again, it ain't getting better. I used to say the president has the toughest job in the world. People generally agree it's the toughest job in the world. It's a tough job. These people trying to help the president win re-election have an even tougher job. They have to lie to you every day for the next 4 months. That's their job. That's Nicole Walsh's job, Brian Steltler, Joe Scarborough. They have to wake up in the morning and say, I got another day, full day of lying to the American people and defending this dementia patient and trying to convince everybody that he is tip-top. He is A-OK. That is a tough job. That event where he didn't know his cabinet secretary's name, that was to announce another amnesty deal, another 500,000 illegal aliens. He wants to give them work permit. He wants to make them citizens, or more importantly, wants to make them voters. On the day they captured the Ecuadorian illegal alien who raped a 13-year-old child in New York in a Queens Park, same day. This was not good timing by the Biden campaign. It really wasn't. They think somebody out there wants him to grant amnesty to millions of illegal aliens. They think somehow there's a segment of the population who supports that. Maybe there is, but it's a small one, as we mentioned earlier yesterday. In a new poll, 62% of Americans support mass deportation. 53% of Hispanic voters support mass deportation. This is not a winning issue for Biden, but he's too senile and stupid to understand it. And as I've said, Trump should talk about this every day. I sent you that the photos and the names of the women who've been murdered by illegal aliens. That should be a big poster that Trump puts on stage. He should read these names every day. Joe Biden won't mention them. If he does, he'll mispronounce their names. Joe Biden has not mentioned Rachel Marin, the mother of 5 who was murdered by an illegal alien in Maryland while jogging on a trail, just like Laken Riley, murdered while jogging. She leaves behind 5 kids, her mother, her family. They're devastated. Joe Biden does not care. He won't mention her. He tweeted about George Floyd, a career criminal who OD'd while resisting arrest 20 times. He mentioned him 1,000 times. He invited his family to the White House. Rachel Marin, she won't hear from him. None of these, Kate Steinle, Molly Tibbetts, Lizbeth Medina, Sarah Root, Laken Riley, none of them matter. They're collateral damage in the effort to get more Democrat voters in this country. And it ain't stopping. He's got 4 months to illegally grant amnesty to illegal aliens. But we got to get to the story in New York. How they caught Christian Giovanni Inga Landi. That's his name. I think he's one of your people, Ironhead. He's got an Italian middle name. But he's from Ecuador. He just came here to seek a better life for his family. He's just an undocumented newcomer who built this country, according to Joe Biden. And, while he was here, couldn't help himself. He attacked 2 teenagers, tied up the boy, and raped the girl with while holding a machete. And then he went on the run. Not too far. He stayed in New York, of course. They put up wanted posters, and the cops didn't get him. The people did. His neighbors grabbed him. We'll tell you that story. It is awesome. And Rachel Maddow and Joy Behar, they made another Trump. It's crazy how these people keep making Trump campaign videos. They say Trump's coming to get them. Talk about self-obsessed. Talk about narcissism. Yeah, if they re-elect Trump, he might put me in a camp. These people are insane.
Excuse me.
And I'm going to try to get his name right again. Here we go. Christian Giovanni Ingalandi is the Ecuadorian illegal alien living in a New York shelter, like I'd say a 3-star hotel, 3 squares a day, free phone, free legal services, culturally appropriate meals, free Lyft rides, free Uber rides, all the whole deal. Give him the full Zarniev, we call it, all the benefits, all the perks that come with being a violent criminal who snuck into this country. Oh, here we got the wanted poster. Excellent. So the New York police put up a wanted poster with a picture of I'm just going to call him Giovanni. You know, I'll go with the Italian name. And they put the poster up and they offer a $10,000 reward, and the people go into action. They find him and they don't just point him out. Just don't call the cops and say, I think he's in the park. I think he's down. They grab him and they rough him up. He needs to understand this. The guy who raped a 13-year-old child while holding a machete while tying up her friend in a public park was detained by a 23-year-old woman named Angela Soretti. And she didn't just stop him, detain him. She put him in a headlock and roughed him up. And my favorite part of the story is 67-year-old woman who was there. There were a few people that were in on this. Hopefully they can split the reward. Took off her shoe and beat him with it. Let's watch the video. This is great. This is the feel-good story of the day.
¿Dónde tú te vas? ¿Dónde tú te vas? ¿A dónde tú te vas?
Aquí voy a esperar. Got him by the hair.
Okay.
He's bleeding.
Okay. ¿A dónde tú te vas?
He's crying like a little baby.
¿Dónde tú te vas?
Like, I don't know which one of these languages you're going to understand, but I'm going to say them all at you.
And then he crawls under a car. I'm not sure that's what I'd do if I were trying to get away, crawl under a car, but he didn't want to take any more shots. There he is under a car. And they got their phones out and they're videotaping it. And she explains, you know, she saw the poster and she saw him. She knew it was him. She grabbed him. And I'm not sure he's gonna... We can't see the 67-year-old woman in this, can we? I want to see her. Takes a shoe and just beats him with it.
Well, I think it might have already happened because he's bleeding a lot.
Oh, good. This is how you do it. Good for the folks of Queens. Now, you know, he's probably going to get out on bail or no bail, because bail's not a real thing in New York unless you falsify a business record.
Right.
And he'll go back. He'll go back to the Roosevelt Hotel in time for a culturally sensitive dinner. How dare Donald Trump call folks like this animals? How dare he?
No kidding.
The cops show up yet? No cops. Is that a cop?
Yeah, those are cops there. They just showed up.
Oh, the cops show up and they got their man. God bless her. Since we're talking about the absolute corruption of the mainstream media, I'm going to make you guess here, Ironhead.
Mm-hmm. NBC
NBC News. Let's take a guess how much time they spent on this story at the evening news last night. How much time did they devote to they're in New York, and right down the street, this violent thug from Ecuador got roughed up by some concerned citizens. How much time did NBC spend on it?
I'm going to say they did the opening segment of every show and they had a pan.
That would be incorrect. 0 seconds. How about CBS News? How much time did they spend on it?
It was probably like the Trump hush money trial. And
That good. 0 seconds. ABC, I believe, spent 1 minute. NBC and CBS completely ignored the story, just like they did last week when they caught the murderer of Rachel Morin. They didn't cover it, didn't mention it. It's kind of a big deal, but it reflects poorly on their guy who on this same day was announcing amnesty for 500,000 more Giovannis. Again, these people, they have no soul. They have no dignity. They're just scum. Donald Trump, he's right about a lot of things, but nothing more so than calling them the enemy of the people. People who ignore this for political reasons, ignore the rape of a 13-year-old child, they are indeed the enemy of the people. They are the worst people in the world. Yes, you, Nicole Wallace, you, whatever that CBS lady's name was, that was a 5-minute clip, by the way, talking about deep fakes. They spent 5 minutes talking with their executive editor about these insidious deep fakes sent out by the Republicans and never mentioned the rape of a 13-year-old child in a public park by an illegal alien. If he were a citizen, they might have covered it, but they can't they can't do anything that might hurt their guy. It's so despicable. It just really is. All right.
This must have been what Joy and Rachel were talking about, was this case.
Yes, these two. I mean, Joy Reid, she's a alleged comedian. No one takes her seriously. She's a clown. But Rachel Maddow was like this icon to Democrats, to liberals. They look to her when she does her show like once a week for $30 million. They look to her for guidance. She's as nutty as the View ladies. She belongs on The View. And they talk about Trump and they think he's coming after them, which I'd be okay with it if there was something to come after. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember Trump ever talking about Rachel Maddow. He probably has, but I don't remember him singling out any of the women on The View who spend their days every day talking about Trump, lying about Trump, manipulating video to make Trump look bad, advancing the hoaxes, all the hoaxes, the bloodbath hoax, the Russia hoax, the drinking bleach hoax. They talk about that all the time. And yet they think if Trump wins, it's going to change the country. It's end of democracy. And he's going to put his enemies in camps. That's what Rachel Maddow, an alleged a journalist. She holds herself up as a journalist. That's what she thinks is going to happen. And you know what? Most Republicans would be like, fine, do whatever you can. This person is just the worst. But listen to these two wackos talk about what's going to happen to them if Trump wins.
So you said recently that you thought that you, as an outspoken critic, could be a target yourself. Some people think that sounds overdramatic, but I'm right there with you. I think that he is so vindictive that he will go after, however he has to, through the IRS maybe, or even, through sponsors to get us off the air maybe, or you. Yeah. How seriously should we be taking that?
Well, so I was asked, am I worried about me? And my answer was, I'm worried about all of us. I'm no more worried about me than I am worried about everybody in the country. I think it's bad to have somebody saying, give me as much power as you can in this country so I can use it to go after other Americans. So I can use it to go after these subhuman internal enemies and I'll destroy them. Like that's just not a good system for anybody. And I don't think anybody's safe if that's the sort of basis on which he wants to get more power.
Well, remember when Nixon had an enemies list? That was a proud moment for a lot of people if they were on the enemies list. Maybe we need to turn it around like that.
Well, I think that if he decides that he's going to go after you or me or anybody who's well known, we have resources will likely be fine. But I think there's a pattern where he picks out individual people and effectively terrorizes them.
But
there's Stormy Daniels wearing a bulletproof vest to get into
it's ridiculous.
the courthouse, right?
Once you have political
That's your example.
Following that.
Stormy Daniels wore a bulletproof vest. Well, did anyone shoot her, Rachel? That was just for show. No, Trump wasn't going to have her killed. See, they're wrong on this, 100% wrong. No surprise there. But Trump doesn't. He doesn't generally punch down, which it would be if he went after Joy Behar or Sonny Hostin or even Rachel Maddow. I mean, he goes after Joe Biden. He goes after Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, Jack Smith. There
was only one case that I know of, and that was Rosie O'Donnell. That was about it.
Yeah, and that was fucking 10 years ago.
Hilarious.
And that was before he was elected. He called her a fat pig. I think truth is his best defense, right? But he doesn't go after what they're talking about using the IRS. That's what Obama did. That's what Lois Lerner did. They went after enemies of Obama through the IRS. As we've seen, Joe Biden is literally putting his enemies in jail. Peter Navarro's in jail. Steve Bannon's heading to jail. Donald Trump's heading to jail. Bannon and Navarro did the same thing that Merrick Garland did. They did the same thing that Eric Holder and Lois Lerner did. And they're in jail or heading to jail. That's what Joe Biden does. That's not what Donald Trump does. Now, Trump, he's going to have to fire some people. He's going to have to learn from his mistakes in his first term. And I think every Trump supporter is all on board with that. Day one, he has to fire Chris Wray, and we'll get to the FBI. This agency is out of control and must be stopped. And Trump did not do a good job with personnel. He, hired John Kelly. He hired Omarosa. He made some mistakes. He's going to have to learn from that. The people around him are going to have to learn from that. Personnel is policy. He has to learn how to pick the right people. It's not just about people who pretend to be loyal to you, Donald. You need real people of action. That's why I think Ron DeSantis should be in the cabinet. He should be Attorney General. That's why Vivek, and I think Vivek's going to be in the cabinet somehow, because he said that yesterday. He said Vivek is going to be with us in a big way. So good. You need people like that who aren't messing around, who want to clean house, who want to reform the FBI, who want to reform the IRS, the Department of Justice. You need to fire people. That's day one. That's when he's going to be a dictator. Day one. Close the border, drill, baby, drill, and fire people like Chris Wray. If you haven't seen this video, it's so disturbing. You can't even. I've seen some of these videos, and these ones, when the FBI is knocking on doors, I watched them, and I literally get uncomfortable that this is happening in this country, that they're using the FBI, the preeminent law enforcement agency in the country, to go after enemies of the state, enemies of the Biden regime. We'll get to the latest example of a just hopelessly corrupt agency that needs to be torn down on day one. We'll get to that. And I didn't think I could love him anymore, but I'm starting to have to quote Andrew Weissman, I have a man crush on Joe Mazzulla, Celtics coach. We'll tell you what he did after winning the NBA title. We'll get to that more, but first.
Excuse me.
I think every American would be frightened to death to get a knock at the door, and then the guy holds his badge out. I'm from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You're immediately thinking, what did I do? What happened? I don't know. Why are you here? We showed you one, 2 months ago. The guy who posted some profane things about Biden on Facebook, and they knocked on his door and wanted to talk to him. We just want to talk to you about some of the people you're associating with. And at the same time, there you got these Hamas supporters burning flags, marching in the streets, vandalizing Jewish businesses. At the same time, you have mass shooters who are all on the FBI watch list. They never stopped them, but they got them on their list. You have real crime. You have shootings, dozens of shootings every night in Chicago. And the FBI is knocking on people's doors for Facebook posts. That was bad. This is worse in my mind. There's a nurse, if you want to read about this, Christopher Rufo, who is the leading culture warrior out there, who's just done amazing work trying to expose DEI and trans ideology at institutions, at schools, hospitals. He's amazing. But he has a piece about this in the City Journal. If you're not following him on Twitter, you should, because he's great. He writes about a nurse named Vanessa Savage. Vanessa Savage was a nurse at Texas Children's Hospital, and she was involved in some of the transgender stuff going on at the hospital. And when she and a doctor who, an actual physician at the hospital, brought this to light, the political leaders in Texas took action. They banned gender care for minors, sex changes, puberty blockers. And then but that didn't stop the fanatics, the doctors who were pushing this. And she points out that kids would come in and they immediately want them to get on puberty blockers and hormones, and testosterone, and they just ignored the law. And they were committing Medicaid fraud. They were billing Medicaid for treatment for confused kids. So she was a whistleblower, obviously, and they don't like whistleblowers in the Biden administration. She points out, she says, when I was in the cardiac clinic, we were taking sick kids and making them better. In the transgender clinic, it was the opposite. We were harming kids. That's when State Attorney General went to work and they shut down the child gender clinic, but it wasn't, they claimed, but it wasn't true. Days later, it secretly reopened for business. And the doctors went right back to trying to mutilate children, screwing up these poor kids who are confused about gender, who are under the spell of these trans ideologues. And they arrested a doctor who spoke out about this. I think he's facing 4 felony charges. And Savage, the nurse, then pointed out that they're illegally billing, that they're committing Medicaid fraud. So what do? The FBI goes to her house, knocks on her door, shows their badges, and says, we need to talk to you. A woman who is obviously doing the right thing, obviously just trying to protect kids. This is the biggest children's hospital in the country, and they're harming kids, as she pointed out. And in Texas, these aren't state officials, local cops. These are the FBI. Joe Biden sends the FBI to this poor nurse's house and just, to talk to her. Again, doctors were illegally performing sex change procedures on kids and billing Medicaid illegally. And they didn't get a knock at the door. The nurse, Vanessa Savage, she got a knock at the door. Watch this.
Hello? Hi. I'm looking for Vanessa Savage. Okay. Yeah. Who are you? Cassie. I'll make some FBI agent. Okay. This is Mr. McBride. Hey, I'm David McBride. Okay. Nice to meet you, sir. It's a pleasant interaction. You're not any trouble nor is she. Okay. All right. Hi, how are you? She snuck up on you there. You want to see too? Are we interrupting dinner? I'm really sorry.
That's all right.
Let me start at the beginning. So I'm sure you're aware of some of the things that have been going on at your work lately.
With regards to,
Yeah. So can we sit down for a minute? Let me do my song and dance.
You know why this is worse than the Facebook guy? The Facebook guy was ready and he just told him, get lost. I'm not talking to you. Call my lawyer. This woman, imagine what a good heart she has, what a good soul she has. She spoke out against her employer, against her bosses, because she saw something rotten, something evil going on in the hospital. She saw that, pointed it out, named names, and they want to at least intimidate her, if not arrest her. The doctor's name is Ethan Haim. He's the one that pointed out that this was going on as well. The Biden administration wants to put him in jail for 10 years. A doctor who spoke out against the madness that is transgender care for children. This woman, I haven't even seen an interview with her. I just saw this. I mean, you feel like just outrage, just insanity that the FBI is knocking on doors of nurses who are doing the right thing. This woman is probably saintly. I mean, you being a pediatric nurse, the ones I've met, they're angels. And these slobs, look at that fat slob on the right. Yeah, can I come in and do my song and dance? Can I come in and just scare the life out of you? Shut you up because you're trying to protect kids? Day one. That's
When
good
you
point
think-
Good point by Rich. Trump empowered Dr. Fauci, which was a mistake on so many levels. And it's a mistake today because they can't use Fauci on the campaign because Trump is culpable as well. Obviously, Biden He still thinks Fauci's a hero. Trump can only badmouth Fauci so much because he put so much trust in him. He gave him so much power. But he's already out. He's on his book tour. He's already, out there pushing a book full of lies. Wray is still running the FBI. Christopher Wray sending these two thugs to a nurse's house while crime is out of control in this country, while terrorists are plotting their next move, while MS-13 is infiltrating cities. He sends these slobs to a nurse's house. It's sickening. And that better be job one, day one. Donald Trump, fire that piece of crap that's running the FBI.
Wouldn't you be like, you can do your song and dance from the porch, and if I find it acceptable, you can come in?
Well, you would be like, get lost. She should, but she's not that. I'm sure she's not that kind of person. She's probably a good person who doesn't think she's done anything wrong because she hasn't. And obviously she should tell him to get lost. But, you're intimidated. You're scared. She's looking at two FBI agents saying, what's your song and dance? You know what their song and dance is? Shut up, lady. We are promoting trans ideology. That's the, hell, there were more trans people at the White House yesterday. One of them, that guy with the beard, he was at the podium of the press room yesterday doing a pretend little press conference. They are just pushing this. Trump's got to use this on the campaign because no decent person thinks that you should give puberty blockers to children, let alone surgery to confuse children who will, in most cases, grow out of it. And they know that. They won't admit it. They know that. They know it's insane to do this to children. I hope it's a campaign issue. I hope it's a debate topic. It won't be because Jake Tapper knows it won't work out well for his guy, but it should be. All right, before we go, we got to get to this. I wanted to mention, congratulations. We mentioned this yesterday. What are the numbers on the Caitlin Clark game Sunday, Father's Day? 3 million people. The most watched WNBA game in 23 years. And some people were tweeting, it was kind of funny, posting and saying, the Angel Reese Caitlin Clark game sets records. No, nobody tuned in to see Angel Reese. Nobody, except maybe her friends and family. 3 million people tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark. And what did they do? They tried to hurt her. They tried to hurt her, tried to knock her out in the most watched WNBA game. And people will keep watching as long as Caitlin Clark is playing. No player in any sport has ever changed the game as much as this rookie from the Fever, the Indiana Fever has. I don't think you could even say that about Tiger Woods. I'm not sure how much the ratings changed. I know he certainly changed the game. People tuned in to see him. But you're talking 3 million people. Normally there'd be, 100,000 or something watching this, but she is such an attraction. And, I'll keep watching. I'm curious. Hopefully they make the playoffs. Hopefully she gets to play Angel Reese again. And hopefully they fail in their efforts to hurt her because she is just fascinating to watch. All right. Joe Mazzulla, Celtics coach, just won an NBA title. And I didn't think much of him either way until recently, but he's been great. He does not play the game. As we mentioned last week, one of the reporters, a guy from Yahoo, wanted to push the race narrative because that's what they do, and point out that you have 2 black coaches, Jason Kidd against Joe Mazzulla, and what a big deal that was. And he just shot that down. We played it. He just said, how many are Christian coaches? He is a real devout Christian. He doesn't shy away from it. As we were talking about before the show, Ironhead, the whole team is embraced their Christian faith, which is refreshing. It's different. It's not the narrative the media is looking for. And Mazzulla one time was asked about the royal family, and he said, you mean Jesus, Mary, and Joseph? That's the only royal family I know. And the media's like, what? We're talking about the Queen. He just won't play their game. And he was asked about what he's going to do or how his life changed. And the media wants to know what movies he's watching. And once again, just gave a perfect answer. Go ahead, play this.
Something you're doing over the last 48 hours to keep yourself away from just being consumed with this? Are you watching different movies?
Honestly, I met 3 girls under the age of 21 with terminal cancer. And I thought I was helping them by talking to them, and they were helping me. And so having an understanding about what life is really all about and watching a girl dying and smiling and enjoying her life, that's what it's really all about. And having that faith. The other thing is you always hear people, give glory to God and say thank you when they're holding a trophy. But you never really hear it in times like this. And so for me, it's an opportunity to just sit right where I'm at and just be faithful. That's what it's about.
And you know what he's doing? He's not going to Disney World. He said he's going to Jerusalem. He's going to make a pilgrimage to Jerusalem to celebrate the NBA title. And good for him. He's winning me over, Ironhead. I'm a big Joe Mazzulla fan now. And you know what? He's going to win again. They're going to win again. As we said yesterday, they're poised to win, 2 or 3 more.
Right.
The Jays are still young. All right, we're going to get to more later this week on the Karen Reed trial, which is getting wild. Ironhead's obsessed. I'm into it too, man. Watching yesterday was just amazing. And Turtle Boy, I got a good Turtle Boy story to tell. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. Big Hollywood guy reached out to me to get a meeting with Turtle Boy. He has just gone to another level. He is just a superstar now because he's been right about all of it. It's just unfolding before our eyes, unraveling before our eyes, and everybody is taking notice. We'll get to that because it just gets better every day, doesn't it? The whole drama is just blowing up on the cops in the state, and the defense hasn't even started yet.
It's funny how comically bad the Commonwealth is.
It's stunning it is stunning how bad their case was and how they thought they were going to pull it off, and it's just falling apart. And I mean, hell, when the defense starts with some of their experts, there's zero chance that they haven't already created reasonable doubt in the jury's minds. Zero chance in my mind that they vote to convict, but they're going to stick with it. I guess they've gone this far, so we'll get to that maybe tomorrow. But we'll leave it there for today. Thanks for watching and listening and commenting. Thank you, Ironhead. I'm Jerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show.